Hi guys, welcome back to the Home and Homestead. My name is Rebecca, and today you'll be joining me in my kitchen where we make some brunch items. And today we'll be making some Rye English Muffins. These are really great to have for breakfast, lunch, or of course, brunch. These would pair very well with some corned beef hash or whatever entree item you're making for your particular brunch gathering. So follow along while we make these homemade Rye English Muffins. Alright, so first what we need to do is get our yeast mixture ready. And we will be preparing the dough today in the KitchenAid stand mixer. So into the stand mixer bowl we will add our yeast. So we'll be doing 2 1/4 teaspoons of an active dry yeast. Or you could do 1 packet. So I'll add the yeast into there. Next, what I'll do is add 1 cup of buttermilk. If you don't have buttermilk, you could do 1 cup of milk, 1 tablespoon of a white vinegar, mix that together and let that sit for about 10 minutes. That'll make buttermilk in a pinch. So do 1 cup of buttermilk, 2 tablespoons of butter, and 1 tablespoon of sugar. Mix that together and heat it up till it's about 100 to 110 degrees. So we'll add that warmed buttermilk mixture into the yeast. We'll just mix this a little bit. And now we'll let the yeast bloom, and this usually takes about 5 minutes. And what we're looking for is a nice frothy top to the surface of our liquid in there. So we'll let the yeast do its thing. So we've let the yeast sit for about 5 minutes, and as you can see on the surface of the liquid there's a nice frothy layer. So now our yeast is ready for the dry ingredients. To this we will add 2/3 of a cup of rye flour, 1 1/3 cup of all-purpose flour, and I mix those together in a little bowl here. So we'll add the flour. I will add 1 1/2 teaspoons of salt and 2 teaspoons of caraway seed. If you don't have caraway seed, you can do 1 teaspoon of a ground caraway. So we'll lower our mixer. And we have the hook attachment on here. Now we'll just mix this on a low setting until we get a little bit of a shaggy dough result. We're just trying to combine our dry ingredients with those liquid ingredients. There we go, the ingredients have combined slightly. So now what we're going to do is on a medium setting, we're going to knead this for about 5 minutes. The dough has been kneading for about 5 minutes. It's a really stretchy and shaggy dough. So I'm just going to remove it from the hook here. I'll use a spatula and just kind of clean off the dough from the edges so that we can remove this dough from the mixing bowl. Now we'll spray it with a neutral oil. I like avocado oil. We'll place the dough ball back in there. Now we'll cover this with a towel and we'll let this rise for about an hour. Alright, so our Rye English Muffin dough has been rising for about an hour. And I'd say it's about doubled in size. So what we're going to do is turn this dough out onto a nicely floured surface. We'll flour the top as well. We'll just gently flatten this out a little bit. When we first put this Rye English Muffin dough into the bowl to rise, it was really sticky and stretchy, but now it's really come and turned into a nice workable dough. We gave it a chance to rise and for some of that rye flour to absorb some of that moisture. So now what we're going to do is portion this out into the size English muffins that we would like. So if you want a nice traditional large size English muffin, this will make about 8. If you want some mini English muffins, it'll probably make about 12. So we'll cut this to about 8 portions. I'm just going to gently form these into ball-shaped. There we go. So we have 8 roughly round portions of our English muffin dough. Now what we're going to do is take a baking pan and we're going to sprinkle a bunch of cornmeal on there. Now I buy my cornmeal in bulk and I like it to be more of a coarse texture. So what I've done is I've taken some cornmeal and put it into my mini blender here and pulsed this so it's a little bit of a finer cornmeal consistency. So just sprinkle some onto this baking pan. What we're going to do is place our Rye English muffins into this cornmeal. On the baking pan. And I like to kind of press these round portions that we created into more of a disc shape. It also helps kind of press that cornmeal into that side of the English muffin. Now I'm going to take a neutral oil. Again, I'll use some avocado oil spray and just quickly spray this surface of the English muffins. We're going to sprinkle some more cornmeal onto the surface that's facing upward. That way both sides of these English muffins will have a nice coating of cornmeal. There we go. Now we have both sides of these Rye English muffins coated with the cornmeal roughly to the shape that we would like. So now what we're going to do is cover them with the towel and we'll let these rise for about a half hour. Okay, so the Rye English muffins have been rising for about a half hour. They have grown in size slightly, so now what we're going to do is just brush off this excess cornmeal. We're going to cook these on the cooktop. So I have my pan heating on a medium-high heat. And what we're going to do is brown the English muffins on the cooktop before we bake them. So I'll place 4 English muffins at a time on this pan. Now if you're making a traditional English muffin and the dough is really soft, you can use these English muffin rings. That'll help give you a really nice rounded shape to your English muffins. You can also just place them around yours. That'll just help guide your English muffins to that nice rounded shape that you're looking for. So we're going to brown these English muffins on each side about 5 minutes, just so it gets a little bit of color onto the English muffin. Then I'll place them onto this bake pan here and we'll bake them in the oven next. I have preheated my oven to 250 degrees for the next step. So let's let these Rye English muffins get a little bit of color on them. Just a little bit of golden brown color. It's slightly firm to the touch when you tap it, and they have actually kind of puffed up a little bit while they're doing this process. So now we'll cook this side of the Rye English muffins to get them a little bit of browned. We'll do the next set of 4. Here's a little closer look at what I'm talking about. Nice color on the other side. Now we'll get the next set of 4 into these rings. Kind of spread it out gently so that it's to the rough circular shape. As you can see, they're about 2/3 the height of the rings, but as this cooks and browns on the sides, the English muffins kind of puff up. They ended up filling these rings. So we'll let these brown. I think these are ready to flip. Nice brown color there. So we'll let this other side brown a little bit. All right, let's check out that second side. Good, nice and browned. So we'll get these off of the stove top here. And now what we're going to do is bake these at 250 degrees for 20 to 25 minutes, or until the side of the English muffin is nice and firm to touch. Alright guys, the Rye English muffins have finished baking in the oven. It took about 25 minutes, and that just gave them a chance to firm up on the sides to touch. So I'll just let these cool slightly, and I'll give you a little closer look of our homemade Rye English muffins. Okay, here is our plate full of homemade Rye English muffins. They have a nice crispy outer browned surface and nice and soft in the middle. Let me open one of these up for you. So I'll take a fork. Just kind of spread it apart here. So it has all these nice little nooks and crannies. This is great to eat fresh like this, or you can toast it up. The Rye English muffins would go really nicely with some of our corned beef recipes that we've made together. So if you're having a brunch and you can make maybe a corned beef main entree, such as the corned beef hash or Reuben rotini or something like that, or this can go well with a number of other brunch items that we'll do together as well. But I hope you enjoyed our time together in the kitchen where we made these homemade Rye English muffins. If you'd like more inspiration of what you can make for your next brunch, breakfast, or luncheon, perhaps for Easter coming up, I'll have a number of recipes that we'll do together that would be perfect for a brunch occasion. If you're new to the channel, I would appreciate you subscribing. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. See you next time. Take care.